Welcome back to the Zyori Podcast. Hello, and thank you for joining us here for podcast number 73. Oh my, it is June 15th, 2015, about 3 o'clock p.m. here on the Pacific Coast. Dream League Season 3 just wrapped up, and boy, what a bang that was. We had a good time casting the last 5 minutes of it. That was a fun surprise. I was casting while I was playing a game of Spirit Breaker. That was a little bit interesting. Basically, Twitch just kind of shit the bed towards the end of the event. So we're at like 60 minutes into the finals, Game 5. It's really heated. Na'Vi, they were down 2-0. They came back, won 2 games in a row to get us to an ace match. Almost the reverse all kill, and then Virtus Pro, spoiler alert, they came in and took the game at the end in a fiery bout of triumphancy. It was pretty impressive. It was a really good series, 2 very evenly matched teams. Virtus Pro just coming out ahead, and they'll take home the big cheddar here for this and rendition of DreamHack. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the prize ceremony, the winner's interview, all that stuff. Maybe it'll pop out in VODs. Noob from UA did a little stream on YouTube Live, so that's nice. I was there to save the day, and I just watched on the client. And for some reason, my stream is working. So I don't know if they're having issues with the European ingest or if it's the Pacific Coast servers are okay. I don't know what the fuck's going on. All I know is I wanted to do sub day and a podcast after DreamHack ended, and that's exactly what we're doing. So there are a lot of things to talk about this week. Man, there were a lot of announcements, and things are really heating up. We're getting into that exciting time. Usually, like the end of Q2, kind of beginning of Q3 is really exciting, and the end of Q4 is really exciting. You know, you got the Christmas time in Q4. Everyone's going crazy for Christmas. That's Christmas madness. Marketing rates are out of control. Everybody's trying to sell Tickle Me Elmos. Everyone's knocking each other out of the way, throwing elbows in Walmart to get the bargains. Then you've got summertime. Everybody's finishing up university. They're finishing up school. It's a huge time for marketing and tourism. People are traveling around. They save all their money in the winter so they can spend it on candy and sunshine and suntan lotion and other goodies at the beach coming into the summertime. So this is around the time when people want to start building hype. E3, that's happening right now. We got to see some cool stuff yesterday. We watched, we being those of us at the BTS house during my friend's birthday party yesterday, got to watch the end of the Nintendo World Championships. That was fucking strange. It had a lot of esports tones in it, I have to admit. It was a competition based around video games, so I didn't want to prejudge it, but it was pretty cool. They debuted the Mario Maker game, which is basically just a custom map generator thing. It's like a custom map maker for Mario games, and it spans the whole fucking collection. So you've got like modern day Mario with his little like water gun and shit. You've got Mario 64. You've got SNES Mario. It goes all the way through, and you can take aspects from all the games, combine them together, and then you have these super insane, hard, challenging levels that people can make and get really creative with. So they had these really sick levels that they had the 2 finalists go on. It was John Numbers versus Cosmo Wright. You'll recognize their faces from Twitch. Cosmo, one of those early speedrunners that kind of got me into it. Him and Sig Lemick. They were the 2 that I really first saw in terms of speedrunning. Like, they were the ones that sort of introduced me to that. So it was fun to watch. It was ridiculous to observe how fucking good these people are at video games. I talked about this in a past podcast of Black at the Summit 2, where he just picked up Lethal League within 5-10 minutes. He's already beating everybody in the room. Within half an hour, it's like, God damn, this guy's like the best Lethal League player I've ever seen. He's been playing it for half an hour. And that's what these guys were like. They're flying through these Mario levels that are challenging as fuck. You get to the end, and it's like, oh, sorry, you got to find all the little hidden things and jump around and stack Reno and do this. It's fucking crazy. After one try, they're just like, boop, 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 done. Looks like they're speed running it. It's disgusting, and it was fun to watch, but made me feel just terrible about how bad I am at video games. I was going to say how good, but after seeing folks like this, it's just it's disgusting. So there's a lot of stuff on right now, and well, it's been fun. Now let's start big and break it down. I've got some anecdotal stuff to talk about in this podcast. I want to talk about that Vulcan show that we just did the first episode of. I want to talk about jury duty a little bit. Oh man, that's exciting. For those of you that don't know what's going on with jury duty, we're gonna give you the full rundown. Jesus Christ, it is ridiculous. So DreamHack, I wanted to just like reminisce a little bit about DreamHack and how cool of an event it is. I've been to a lot of DreamHacks in my day. I've been to 4 total. I've been to 1 just as a pure spectator. First time traveling alone in Europe, I planned a trip around going to a DreamHack. Second time, I was hired as talent and paid by S2 to be a Honcaster. Third time, I went right after that. That was I was hired the DreamHack Summer 2012, and I went the winter of 2012 just to do press coverage and meet people and hang out and kind of a mini vacation. And then the 4th DreamHack was the one after that in, God, what year was it? I can't remember. I wasn't there for very long. But anyway, it's a really cool event. It's very unique. I feel like if you've never been there, you can't really capture the feeling by just watching the streams. It's a next level energy. I mean, the halls are so ridiculously massive. Remember the first time I saw a picture of DreamHack and I didn't know what it was. It was in a Bass Hunter like mashup music video when I was in like 8th grade or 9th grade, like just about to get into high school, and I saw all the computers in the hall, and we're just like, where the fuck is that? That's so many computers, like 900 computers. And then at the front, there's just a big, massive stage with a huge sound system, and 24/7, they are just blaring music and ridiculous videos. It's like they'll have live acts, people come up on the stage and do giveaways, they do interviews, there's musical acts, they've got bands. Like when they're streaming, you could hear in the background yesterday, especially like on the night before the last one, they're just pumping bom, 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 music in the background. You're like, you got to tell the people next to you to turn the music down. It's like, that's not another booth next to you. That's the fucking main stage where people are just watching a fucking concert at DreamHack. It's just nonstop noise and sirens and lights, and there's people up in the front doing hard style, jumping, going all fucking ape shit. It's pretty next level. The fact that you can be at a live electronica concert and also playing Dota with your 5 mates just right next to you, all just slaying hard, yelling at each other, it's pretty fucking ridiculous. I'm not going to lie. And the other crazy part is stuff doesn't get stolen. Everybody shows up with their shit from home, monitor, computer, packed up on their desk chair. Then when they want to go to bed, they just fucking leave it there. You walk through the hall on like day 3 at like 4 in the morning, and there's just keyboards, headsets, mice, laptops, just anything you can imagine, just laying out in plentiful bound, ripe for the taking. And it doesn't get fucking stolen. It would just never work in America. People would just, they would just steal everything. It would be abused. It's really nuts. As an American, it seems fucking crazy. The public sleeping area, pretty wild as well. That's where things get frisky. I stayed in the public sleeping area one time. Would not recommend. It is not good. It really is not a fun experience. I guess it's okay if you have like an air mattress and you don't mind people taking pictures of you while you're sleeping and yelling and hearing people doing it in close proximity. Then it's not bad. If you're into that, then more power to you. It's really cheap. It's like the cheapest vacation you can imagine. You can buy like the 24-hour with the sleeping room, like computer seat pass, everything like $150, $200, and it's like 4 days. It's pretty cheap. It's like all the entertainment you can ever imagine. I was having almost more fun than watching the Dream League stream, watching fucking Soda Poppin' play blackjack. That shit was ridiculous. That made me want to like set up and do something at future DreamHacks where I'm just there fucking streaming. I just want to go to a DreamHack with a decent computer and just sit there and stream the whole time. Fuck hosting and presenting. Just play games and stream. I feel like that would be awesome. Set up a little camera up top. You could stream the stage. Be like, yeah, we're listening to a concert right now, and we're playing fucking Dota. He's literally just sitting there playing blackjack. There's people standing behind him, and he's just like getting donations, spamming and trolling and making fun of people and yelling at these people on the other end of the fucking casino. It's surprisingly hysterical. And it's also ridiculous just how quickly he gets subs and donations. Like how much money that guy makes blows my fucking mind. He gets a new sub like every 2 minutes. He's just sitting there just like bonk, 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 sub after sub. It's really, really quite good. It's a really fun event, and I'm sad that I didn't get to go. I honestly probably would have stayed through after the TI5 qualifiers. I'm in Europe anyway. I have plenty of friends over there I could have stayed with and made it happen, and it would have been fairly cheap. I could have just rebooked my flight till after DreamHack and then gotten just a short little one-way from like Bucharest to Stockholm or to Jönköping or whatever. Only reason I didn't was because of the jury duty, like we talked about. And I want to get into that a little bit. It's a real pain in the ass. They send you a little card in the mail, and they say, oh, okay, you got to show up at these dates. You can reschedule it. I rescheduled it the first time accidentally to the TI qualifiers. That was my bad. The date I kind of knew but didn't really think about it. I had it written down, so that was bad. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have some downtime right after the TI5 qualifiers. Perfect time for jury duty. No lose situation. Of course, that backfired because I would have stayed in Europe to attend DreamHack, maybe ESL1, that's pushing it a little bit, but certainly could have attended DreamHack, and it would have been fun. Probably could have been on the couch just a little bit, show up and do my thing, and then also could have had some fun just being at the event, enjoying it. Could have brought my laptop, done a bit of gaming, work the old arm muscles a little bit. Could have been great. So I want to talk about jury duty a little bit because I'm really torn. It's one of those things that I feel like is a big pain in the ass, and it's very bureaucratic, and it's not the most efficient use of time. But at the same time, I'm really glad jury duty exists, if that makes sense. I'm glad America has a system in which you could have a trial by your peers and be somewhat okay about it. And the way they do the jury selection process is basically you come into this big room, you sit there and wait. They break you into smaller groups, and the smaller groups each get assigned to one judge. It's like 40 to 50 people. You sit in this little room, and then they tell you all this shit about what it's like to be on a jury, how you can make friends from the jury. Many juries go out to dinner afterwards. They talk to you about deliberation and what it means to be unbiased and how your past experiences aren't supposed to do this and how criminal cases are different from civil cases. Criminal, you need more evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. And civil, you don't even need a unanimous vote. You just need like 3/4 of the people to agree, and it's fine because it's just a little civil thing, So they go over all this bullshit. None of it's really that mind-blowing, but what have you. And then they go through one by one and ask you if you have, it's like a list of questions, and it's if you have any like financial hardships where you own a business and you're the only one that can run it, and if you're at jury duty, then your business can't operate. That would be significant financial hardship, so you don't have to do jury duty. You'll get excused. And then others, like if you don't speak English, you'll be excused. If you actually live in another county, you'll be excused. Shit like that. So you're going through. I'm like, all right. And then it's a lottery. They pick just random. They give each of you a number, then they pick it randomly, and they fill the juror box, and then a safety row of jury people. And then they go through one at a time again and ask you a more involved set of questions. And after every single one, you say, okay, like job of my spouse. You go, yeah, my spouse's brother is a cop. All right, let me stop you right there. So now you're going to have to understand that if there are police officers in this case and blah, 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 each person gets the individual speech about being unbiased. They go through, everybody has to agree and nod and be honest, do all this fucking bullshit. And then after that, the DA, the district attorney in this case, and the attorney of the defendant, they have to go through and pick which people they want to get out for any reason they want. They could be like, this person sounds unbiased. Oh, this guy said he doesn't like cops. Oh, this guy said that he was convicted of rape. Let's get him out of here. Whatever it is. It could be that they say they like turkey sandwiches. They don't have to give a reason. So then they go through and eject jurors. And then they start using people in the safety seats. And then when you run out of people in the safety seats, you grab more from the lottery. So the whole time, it's very individualized. So when they're not talking to you, you're just fucking sitting there. You're just like, interesting, this stranger was falsely accused of a crime 20 years ago. This is all great information. And you're in a courtroom, so you're not allowed to read. You're not supposed to be on your phone. You got to take off your fucking hat. You're not supposed to wear flip-flops. There's all these goddamn rules. Got to sit up straight. It's not fun, but it's still okay. So I got lucky. I was in the back pool. I was just waiting, kind of zoning out, absorbing it, soaking that shit in as I would, just absorbing people and trying to figure them out as I'm sitting there. And they have to redo the safety. They run out of people on the little safety bench. So they pick some more numbers. I am the dead last person. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, well, whatever. So they're going through, and they get to me. They ask me half the questions, and they look at the clock and go, oh, shit, it's 4:05. We got to get the fuck out of here because we only work a 7-hour day. So, whoa, let's not keep it too late. So they cut it off there. Everybody has to come back the next day. I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake. So we had to show up at 10:30 the next day. We get in. So they very quickly finish up with me, and then it gets to the part where the DA and the attorney have to eject people. And I'm the first one ejected. I'm like, thank the fucking Lord. As soon as you get ejected, it's done. You're over. You get credit for being there and trying. You're out. And I was so fucking happy to do it. There's a lot of tricks that people tell you. Like, I've only been called for jury duty one other time. Well, two other times besides this. Once I didn't have to go because I was very late in the lottery and they already filled the jury before I even had to show up. And the other time I had to go, but I was excused because I was a full-time student. So like a 3 or 4 day trial, for example, that's a pretty short one. That would be significant hardship in terms of my courses, whatever. So they excuse you, no problem, no harm, no foul. This was the first one that I had a chance of actually getting in. I didn't have a good excuse. I'm not traveling, I'm not doing any bullshit. I could be here for this. So people tell you, well, just pretend to be racist. And it's like, well, that's a good idea, except you have to actually do it. And it sounds great on paper. It's a great plan if you're sitting around at home drinking beers with your friends, like, yeah, I'm gonna drop an N-bomb, and then they'll know that I shouldn't be on the jury. It's like, well, okay, that will get you kicked out of jury duty. No, they even ask you that one of the members of this whole case was African American, and they ask you right away. They say one of the primary parties in this situation is of a minority. Will that affect your judgment in any way? So if you come in there guns ablazing and just drop some racial slurs, they'll eject you pretty fucking quick. But you're in there just in front of all these strangers, and they're all just looking at it. They're all just going to give you those looks, just like, you motherfucker. You are scum. You are slime. I mean, you only have to deal with it for like 10 minutes before they kick you out, and then you can be on your merry way. But still, you have to do that. And I don't know if I can really do that. They have your name. It's not good. It's tricky. It's more involved than that. So I didn't go with any of that route. I just, I spoke about, they ask you if anybody in your family has been victim of a crime, if anybody you're close to or know has been a victim of a crime, convicted of a crime, or accused of a crime. I'm like, well, for fuck's sake, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people that have been arrested or, their house has been broken into or whatever. So I just told some stories about some people I knew that had both good and bad interactions with police officers, and I explained how that emotionally affected me as a young man in this modern society. I'm just a millennial trying to make my way, and this is difficult because you're bringing up past memories. And yeah, they kicked me out right away. So I got to move on. I was home by like 11:30. That ended up being a good day. And, at the end of it, I did feel oddly, like, accomplished. Even though I was in there playing Mafia, just like, all right, motherfuckers, it's me versus all of you. I am not going to be on this jury. Like, this is, oh, God. I feel like it would be really fun, though, to do that one time. Like, if you had nothing to do, you're literally, I mean, it sucks to say if you're on holiday, I'd like to go to jury duty, because if I'm on holiday, I really just want to go on holiday. But if I didn't have anything pressing to do, if I didn't have Dota to play, I feel like it would be fun to be on a jury, get in there, deliberate with people, see what they're thinking, and really get into it and argue about freedoms and how to apply laws and stuff. I feel like that would actually be quite fun. So that was my jury duty experience. It was not too bad, and I got to move on with my life. But the sad part is I miss DreamHack. So I guess could have been better, but also could have been worse. So, all right, let's continue with the anecdotal shit, and then we're going to talk about Dota 2 Reborn, and we're going to talk about YouTube gaming. Those are two really dense topics. Again, I wish I had somebody else to chat with today to springboard it. I'd love to be on jury duty. I bet you would, Dirk. I was thinking this. Dirk is in chat. Big shout out to you, by the way. I was thinking this morning, and I was having breakfast. I was like, I feel like I need to do a podcast with Dirka. And then I thought to myself, what would we talk about? And I couldn't come up with any great blockbuster topics, but I feel like you're just a good person to go back and shoot the shit with and bullshit with. So we might have to make that happen one of these days. Plus, you've got that accent that just makes people fucking listen. God, I wish I had a killer accent like that. Just like, hey, good day, mate. Oh, I'm Harry Potter. Oh, it's great. People really listen to everything that you have to say with much more much more detail than I. Why are people posting spoilers in chat for season 1 of Game of Thrones? I swear to God, if you haven't seen season 1 of Game of Thrones yet, you deserve to be spoiled. What are you doing with your life, you crazy fucking crazers? Okay, so enough getting sidetracked in chat here. So Vulcan show. We're committed to 4 episodes of this for now. It's supposed to run starting last week, and then there will be 3 more episodes, and that'll take us up to about TI time. Let's see. Actually, when did it start? What was it? So it'll be the 12th, the 19th, the 26th, and the 3rd. Maybe we'll do one on the 10th. We still don't know when people are leaving for TI, so that's kind of up in the air. I'm committed to 4 episodes. The idea is it's just basically in the studio for the most part. It's a Dota-based talk show. There's always a need for this kind of content. I think Toffees does a really good job. There's need for more of that kind of content. I think In the Studio is good / was good. There are things I would have done differently, things I would change in the future if we brought the series back. But you have to keep in mind those shows are not value. Our community in particular for Dota doesn't find them that interesting relative to how large our community, like the size of our community versus how much interest there is in that type of content versus other communities like Counter-Strike or League of Legends or StarCraft, when StarCraft was in its prime, of how many people are in the community versus how many like that kind of content. So it's very hard in the Dota space. It's also just not cost effective. You need at least 3 to 4 people to really have an interesting show like that. And you have to pay them. So that's like, you're not going to get a return on that kind of a show. There has to be a marketing bill. You know, there has to be some kind of a sponsor. For us, it was 100 TB that made that show cost feasible, basically. And in this case, Vulcan is the one doing it. So that by nature makes those shows a little more, quote, sellouty, because you just have to. There's no other way to make them work unless you just are doing it because you have a lot of people that have a lot of free time. You know, I mean, if you're just like 4 dudes that are interesting, you could talk about shit, but no one's going to watch it because what really brings the numbers in these kind of Dota talk shows are guests. And so I told Greg, I'm like, dude, first of all, we have to announce it more than like 10 minutes before it's going to start. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would have liked to watch that show that just had no idea that it was starting. No, I like make some forum threads, get out there. He's like, well, Reddit didn't like it. I'm like, yeah, dude, Reddit doesn't like gambling. We've been over this. We've seen this many a time. Did you watch the summit too? Huh? They didn't care for the gambling shit. So we're going to have to work a little harder here, man. Going to have to make it happen. I'm only involved in it as like a contractor. Basically, I make the content in terms of I come up with like the outline, I decide the flow of the show, and I host it and inspire questions. Greg is the one that's in charge. He's full-time Vulcan now. I hope people understand this. What is hip? Gerg Laird. He works for Vulcan full-time. He's an esports manager of sorts. It's cool. So he's the kind of the liaison that's making the whole thing happen. So he's in charge of finding the guests, putting the show together. Technically, we have a producer that's remote that works for Vulcan full-time that does all the overlays and all that shit. Greg's the one for the stupid name, Mangoes and Tangos, both of which have E's in them. Since when does Tangos have an E in it? I don't even think Mangoes has an E in it. I would not add any extra characters to that already girth monster of a name. I made fun of him for the logo already, but god damn, it's not even a mango from Dota. It's literally just a picture of a regular mango. Greg, my man. Oh god, so I think we're gonna have a new logo. I might have a new name. I told him, like, dude, I'm not the creative guy. I'm gonna be organized and project manage this bitch guy. All right, I came up with In the Studio. That is arguably the worst name for a show next to Mangoes and Tangos. See, the Mangoes joke worked when the hub was going on and there were mangoes everywhere, but there's no mango, like, I guess mango, for fuck's sake. Ugh. Anyway, it's fun. I'm glad to be doing it. I love doing that kind of content. That's why I would take a show like that, even if it's a little bit disorganized at the start. I really like that kind of like Dota Radio morning show style, where we're just talking about news points, getting some perspectives out there. That's what I like to focus on with that kind of shit. It's all about perspective. There's less about right and wrong and black and white and this and that. It's not binary. Everything's a gray area. I want to hear other people's perspectives. I want to pull that perspective out of people. You know, I want to talk about these big issues in a way that's a little bit different from the scuttlebutt going on in the subreddit. You know, so that's my drive to kind of do this kind of content, and I'm glad that Vulcan is providing opportunities to do that. The irony is, people think I'm a big Vulcan sellout. I'm not even. It's okay, like, I like it, but I'm not even a crazy good fantasy guy. The whole thing is just so fucking overblown and ridiculous. I get that Reddit doesn't like gambling. I get that Europeans think internet gambling is a problem, but it is ridiculous. Like, you compare Vulcan's presence in Dota to CSGO, and it's like just accepted over there. Like, they like the idea of the show. They're glad that Vulcan is doing a show in Counter-Strike. You know, they love betting. It's part of the whole thing. Not all of them, of course. I'm generalizing, but when like the term Vulcan comes up on the subreddit, there isn't a 200 post like essay about why betting is encouraging the next generation of people to ruin their lives. But when you come to the Dota 2 space, it's like these shady motherfuckers are coming in here. They're taking all the money and they're fucking people over, and I don't like it. I don't like it. They're encouraging DDoS. Get my pitchfork ready. Let's go. Like they're so fucking mad about it, and I can understand if you don't like it, you don't want to support it. I get it, man. But once we start getting into the anecdotes of how gambling ruined my uncle's life, I'm just like, dude, everybody has an anecdote about how something that's illegal ruined their lives. Everybody's had an alcoholic friend or parent that's gotten out of control at one point. Like that sucks, but that happens. That's human nature, man. That's what society's all about. You can't get caught up on the micro. We're a society. It's the macro. We got to talk. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, so that's the plan for the Vulcan show. I'm committed to 4 episodes. That's going to be like kind of the pilot pre-series, and then we're going to take it from there, see how we feel about it, see what the schedule looks like post-TI, and then take it from there. So that's basically the skinny on that. Just wanted to clear the air and make sure everybody knows what's actually going on. Good night, Trisha. So let's talk about YouTube a little bit. And boy, oh boy, there are a lot of question marks surrounding this one. So this is going to be a little bit more of a broad strokes type conversation here, just about what's going on in general. I have to sip some coffee here. So no doubt about it, Twitch is the big boy when it comes to streaming. Everybody knows that. It's been that way for a while. YouTube has been putzing around in this space just a bit. And I use the word putzing because they've always had potential to be a big player. And that's kind of what environmental scanning is all about. It's a little term I learned in business school. I love it. It's the perfect phrase for it. And it's not about what competition is out there right now, but what competition could be out there in the future, and identifying key players in the field that could do that. A great example is someone like Facebook. They started out as just a social media platform. It ballooned into this crazy, huge, ridiculous platform that everybody is signed on to. And it's so massive that there's no way Facebook isn't making a fair bit of money. They've got billions in the bank, especially once they go public, exactly how much money they have. They could very easily shift focus and say, we want to break into the cell phone market. We want to have a Facebook cell phone where Facebook is an integrated Facebook OS. That could happen. They have the resources to do that. I'm not saying that'd be the best move or that's like financially feasible, but it's an example of something that Facebook can do. So if you're a cell phone, if you're in the space of cell phones or mobile devices, you're thinking about who could be your future competitors and what kind of moves are they making to position that way. And I feel like Google has been popping around a little bit in that way. There were rumors of Google wanting to buy out Twitch. Who knows how true they were, but it'd be hard to imagine Google was not interested in Twitch. I think that's kind of a gimme right there. And as soon as Amazon bought it, that's when you saw Google starting to put a little more stock into YouTube gaming. They've been hiring like crazy. I keep pretty close tabs on who's hiring and when. And they have been hiring partnership managers, they've been hiring front-end and back-end developers, and they've been hiring just key manager people. Who's the guy that they hired to be their director of esports? Golly gee willikers, I'm forgetting his name. Let's just Google YouTube gaming hire. Oh man, what the hell is his name? Oh, I'm totally forgetting. It's like he's pretty well known. He's got 250K followers. God. Oh, they hired somebody from Zynga, Manuel Bronstein. Look at you, killing it. Getting away from Zynga, that's good. I forget the guy's name. But they've been adding to their staff to kind of start buffing up this YouTube gaming thing. And the thing about that you have to remember about this whole thing is reach. A lot of people look at like Hitbox and Twitch. And they're very different because Twitch had that first mover's advantage, right? They were like they weren't the first streaming platform for gamers. Owned 3D did that. They were the ones that truly had the first mover's advantage. Too bad their platform was a fucking train wreck. It was just this colossal hodgepodge of just buttons and backends and pop-ups, and the website was hard to use, hard to navigate, and just never really had that cohesive plan. They also didn't really have a great financial strategy as well. They just threw way too much money at their marketing department, gave people way too big of deals, and then had to file bankruptcy because they had no way to pay for it. They just didn't get the viewer base that they thought they would or that they needed to make it happen. Hitbox is, I don't know how they're staying afloat, quite honestly. I guess they've got some VC money or something, but they just don't have the numbers. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's all about big events. We're still at this stage in the esports arena where the the rights to broadcast events are still free. We haven't really matured to that point yet where, an event like the Summit is saying, oh, hey, Twitch, you want to broadcast the Summit 3? You want that on your platform? You're going to have to pay for it, motherfucker. You look at real sports, and it's like that like crazy. Different stations bid on different games, the Super Bowl, different areas, and that's where the big viewership comes from, and that's how they sell their ads. That's what balances the whole thing out. We don't have enough platforms for that to be possible. Right now, it's like you're doing yourself a disservice if your stream isn't on Twitch for the most part. There's a handful of exceptions, but even most big LAN tournaments, if you're not on Twitch, you're missing out on potential reach. And if you're that big, Twitch will help you in ways of monetizing your content, pushing it out there, and capitalizing on all of that reach that the Twitch platform has. But that reach is really, really important. In a lot of cases, you need Twitch more than Twitch needs you. And with more big players coming into the space, that's probably going to change at least a little bit. How? It's hard to say. How much? It's even harder to say. Twitch is a big fucking dog, and they're not going to be easy to take down. But if there's one source that has the resources, the finances, the development power to do it, it's fucking Google. It's fucking YouTube. I mean, we're talking about reach right now on Twitch. YouTube is absurd. Let's just do a little check and guess here. All right, let's compare Twitter followers, because we all know that's what really matters in the world. Okay, Twitch, they are at 2.35 million followers on Twitter. That's pretty good. That's a fuckload of reach. If they want to take a stream that they find interesting, that doesn't have a lot of viewers, push it to the front page, they can do it pretty easily with a simple fucking retweet on that Twitter account. That's a big deal, right? And they follow me. Oh, how nice. That's cool. I like that. So, YouTube. Let's see. Is there an official YouTube Twitter? They've got to have one, right? YouTube creators. There it is. 3.18 million. God damn, that's a lot of fucking people. That's a little bit more than Twitch. But my point is, they have that ecosystem already. They have a way to push streams in front of people. And this is already an issue for Twitch. What do people do most commonly? Stream on Twitch, chop up highlights, upload the cream of the crop to YouTube. YouTube's already partway there. They have the lock on the VOD system. Twitch has the lock on the live stream system. Now, what if YouTube comes in and takes a little bit of that from Twitch? Just gets in there and takes a little bit of that live stream share. Then you've got all of a sudden this mammoth platform that's got a 30% share of the live streaming market and still this massive, overwhelming majority share of the VOD market. Once you start to get that snowball rolling, it's pretty easy to hit the tipping point and roll over and be like, well, why don't we just do everything on this one platform where I already got my Gmail, I've already got all this other stuff. Look how well it integrates with my blog. Wow, this is kind of nice. That's what Google does. It takes all this shit, integrates it together so you have one master account that you can log in to manage all of your shit. And it's going to be interesting to see how that battle plays out. There's no way Twitch is going to roll over and take it. And I'm really interested to see how this affects the development on the Twitch side and the development on the YouTube side. And some of this will come down to technology. Who's got the better technology? Who can push out the better quality stream with the best possible compression, with dynamic transcoding and all sorts of other monetization incentives where you have integrated donations, integrated like subscriber buttons, stuff like that, and what kind of support are they going to offer the big streamers? And that's the thing that I'm kind of curious about. And for YouTube, again, they already have this great foundation. They have this bowl, this plethora of all these gaming crazies, all these Let's Play type folks, all these PewDiePie motherfuckers that are just hanging out there, just making videos. And all you have to do is say, hey, buddy, how would you like a better ad deal? Maybe a little bit of a signing bonus, huh? And we'll get you live streaming. We'll help you get set up. We'll buy whatever gear you need. See, this is Timmy. Timmy, this is your go-to guy here. You're going to need him. Oh, man, I forgot to take Dota off. That's annoying. This is your go-to guy. If you have any problems, ask him. And then you've got a happy streamer. Why would they ever switch to Twitch? You've already built this brand loyalty of these people that have been using your VOD service. They're absolutely going to use your live service if it's up to snuff. And they're already talking about YouTube having 1080p, 60 frames support with all that beautiful HTML5 and transcoding and all this yummy good stuff. I don't know. The DVR functionality is there as well. It could be a problem for Twitch. Now, one issue for Twitch, which has been a huge advantage for them in the past, and this is just a good microcosm of how quickly our industry changes, the industry of esports as a whole. Twitch owns a lot of their servers, and that was one of the things that makes them different from a lot of these other platforms. If I'm not mistaken, I think Hitbox has a combination where they own some servers and they rent some servers. And what some other streaming platforms can do is they rent all of the server space. They rent all of the bandwidth. And the advantages are if you own it, it's a lot cheaper because you don't have to pay inflated, rates on rental fees. It's just cheaper to own it, but it doesn't give you that same scalability. If you rent all this virtual server space, you can just crank it up. You're gonna be like, oh shit, we got the Jonas Brothers coming. We're gonna hit 200K concurrent. Just crank it up. Just keep adding virtual servers. We're in, baby. It's expensive, but you can scale very easily and you can do it virtually. When you own the servers, you can't just start inserting more RAM into them as you get more viewers on your platform, but it is a lot cheaper in the long run. So it's going to be harder for Twitch to integrate past that, I think. That's a little bit of projection. That's a very basic analysis of how these streaming platforms work. But that is one issue that Twitch is going to run into in the future. As things go on, their technology may become a little more antiquated. So they're going to have to step up. I mean, we haven't really seen that many new features on Twitch in a little while, and I'm really excited to see if this kind of new competition in the marketplace is going to push them to do some cool stuff with their platform. And I mean, we've been wondering to transition here, maybe to segue a little bit, if this is going to be the case for Dota, because things have felt maybe a little stale at times. Dota TV, not quite up to snuff with how it used to be, right? Audio quality is shit, perfect world is shit. You can't even buy just straight up tickets for 99 cents or $1.50 anymore. You've got to buy the whole bundle. Look, I get a loading screen, I get a courier, some words, some other bullshit that I don't like, maybe a set if we hit this ridiculous stretch goal. Fuck all that. Nobody wants to do that anymore. That was really cool for like a year. It was pretty cool for 2 years, and now people are burned the fuck out of it. They just want Immortals. They want the insane value you get from a TI compendium, from a DAC compendium. They don't really care that much about these individual little tournaments, your summits, your star ladders, whatever it else. It's just a completely different market space now, and that's how the majors are going to change things. We've heard so much about Source 2. It's going to cure all of our woes. Particles are going to run better. The game's going to be more effective. We might actually get some custom games, and Valve is very good at pushing people to their limit. You know, the joke about Valve time, Valve's very slow to do things, this and that. Surely they are. But they're pretty good at hitting timings where they don't piss off their audience. You know, people are still playing Dota 2. They're just not as excited as they once were. So here we go. Dota 2 Reborn is announced. So this announcement came out just a couple of days ago. It's on the front page of Dota2.com. And in true fashion, Valve is going to be slow rolling some of the releases. We've got part 1 of 3 released so far. And next is going to be more details about custom games. So I reckon most of you have seen this already. And part of here, let me just, we'll switch overlays real quick here, just so that you can kind of see it and give the non-Doters a little bit of a look here. So new engine, new interface, new ways to play. That's basically what it's all about. So you've got this beautiful new interface here. Everything's nice and dynamic, very futuristic. They're going to have public lobbies coming back. That's pretty cool in a way that's, kind of like an homage to the old client on Warcraft 3. Here you've got a new friends list, all this other cool shit that we already have, like party chat, improved chat, yeah, sure. A better hero browser. Wow, look at this experience. This is very exciting. Demo your hero. This is a big one. New ways to watch. And this is the one I want to talk about right now because we were just talking about YouTube and Twitch and how that's going to be interesting. Steam's not getting left behind. Valve wants to be part of this. Dota TV expanding. Let's read this a little bit. We're combining the best of Dota TV with the best of streaming. Dota TV, powered by Steam Broadcasting, will now provide detailed statistics and graphs for you to browse while supporting full tournament video production. These streams are capable of 1080p at 60 frames per second while carrying an embedded data feed for stats and graphs and are accessible from inside the Dota 2 client as well as on the web. Need to pause for a moment or just miss some action? You can pause, then rewind anytime you want. DVR functionality. Hey! You will also find third-party streams for the game directly inside the client. That is fucking cool. And that's basically exactly what folks on Reddit have been asking for the better part of a year. I want to be able to watch on the client, but get all the cool production shit that's happening on the stream. Now you get the best of both worlds. You get a stream integrated in Dota at crisp, beautiful 1080p quality, and you get access to all that cool Dota TV bullshit, the graphs and what have you. on the side of your interface. And they're going to redo like the featured tournament tab now, so you'll find tournaments a little bit more easily. It'll be much more clear, like the major tournaments, the mid-tier tournaments, and then the amateur tournaments, all this kind of shit. You can watch it with your friends. They're making the whole platform a social experience. Oh my Lanta, there's going to be a feed where you can post updates and you can share replays. You can be like, hey motherfuckers, this game's awesome. Check it out. And there's post-up replays. That's really fucking cool. I feel like there's some cool shit we could do with a sub-guild, all that kind of stuff. Like, hey guys, this is a cool game. Pop it out there. They're making the whole platform more interesting, more manageable. Now, this is huge. We're going to talk about custom games in a minute, but we got to take this as it comes, one thing at a time. There's a lot to digest here. So Source 2 is a part of this. That's cool. That's great. We're not going to get too hung up on Source 2 because everyone's talked about it so much. The redesign of the client, the interface, just all general improvements to the game. They're going to improve the tutorial system and the learning. But Steam TV, or Steam Broadcasting as they're calling it, I feel like this has not been talked about enough because this is a player. This is somebody moving into the space here. We saw them release the kind of like beta version of it. I guess I never even really used it, where you can kind of just spectate off of other people. Sort of, you can broadcast through Steam, I guess, if you want to. It has like an embedded streaming thing. It wasn't really a big hit, and part of that is the reach thing. There's no central place for people to find it. You got to remember, Twitch is also bundled with Xbox. That's something else that I feel like is underreported and under talked about. Twitch is just like integrated in Xbox One. You can just get in there and you can, when Nothing was on the Joe Rogan podcast, that guy Red Band, he instead of calling it streaming, he kept calling it twitching. You're like, I just get on my Xbox and I can twitch from there right away. I'm like, dude, you're not using that word right. Twitch is a noun. No, like, who says twitching as a verb? It just, fucking, that bothered me. But that's a huge market. You can't forget about how many people play consoles. You know, that's a part of esports too. And that's something that Steam doesn't have right now. Well, I guess the Steam box is kind of a console, but it's not. It's a gray area. Anyway, this is just one of those cute little nuggets. Just like, yeah, you know, we're going to have some streams, 1080p 60, no big deal. You can watch them in your client. So we're going to go full circle here. And I talked at the beginning of this discussion of streaming about streaming rights and how that's a thing in real sports and big network TV and not so much of a thing now. That it's a thing now in terms of these are my rights, and what Dota Radio used to do where you're just casting off the ticket, Twitch does not allow that. Steam allows that. Valve's policy is, yeah, sure, do whatever. Once it's in Dota TV, we're happy with it, but Twitch will respect the DMCAs of tournament broadcasters. None of this is news. It's been that way for a while. So we've established that tournament rights are a thing on that front, but we haven't gotten to the point where people are actually paying for it and buying it. The closest that we've gotten is Azubu, right, with their most recent expenditure for MDL. Why do you think that was on the Azubu platform? That's not because MDL was like, oh yeah, let's give Azubu a try. Let's see how that platform works. Let's have a go. That was a bidding war. That's Azubu saying, no, we want some quality content. We're buying this. That's buying rights to an event. And that's kind of the only way that a new streaming platform is really going to be able to come to fruition. And that's where things get interesting, because compared to big TV networks, we're still small fish. If a TV network comes in and drops $500,000 on a huge blockbuster event like the International to buff up their whatever, abcgo.com streaming platform, they could do that and they'll get a fuckload of viewers. That content is so premier that people just want to fucking watch it. And as long as the player works, as long as the commercials aren't ridiculously invasive, people are going to watch it in bountiful numbers, right? So $500,000 is a lot of money relative to our industry, but relative to TV, that is a drop in the bucket. Come on, man. The rights to real sports, to tennis, to golf, all that shit, we're talking millions. Easy. So that's one thing we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen big TV come in. And there's still all these little streaming platforms that are trying to get a chunk of this big old pie while they still can. And I want to see who gets the biggest piece of the pie when some of the dust settles. And people are coming for Twitch, man. That's where things are getting interesting. So how big of a deal will stream broadcasting be? Will it be, I said Steam broadcasting be? Is it just going to be like a TI major thing? Are they taking some of that share from Twitch just by saying, all right, Dota events, that's going to be on our own streaming platform. We've got Steam broadcasting. What if they did that with Counter-Strike? Think about how much hold Valve has on part of the esports market. What if it becomes segregated based on platform? What if all of the CS majors and all of the Dota majors are on Steam broadcasting? And then you've got like Call of Duty and League of Legends on Twitch. Then you've got this esports scene that is dichotomous, not only based on what kind of game you prefer, like Dota versus League of Legends, but which platform you watch it on. And then bidding wars start happening back and forth. That would totally change the space as we know it. And that could happen. I feel like these could be the budding plays of that chaos opening up, where it's not just, oh, you have an event, I'm going to put it on Twitch because I need their reach. It's like, all right, guys, I've got a big event over here. Who wants to pay me the most for the privilege of it being on your platform? I think that's the next big shift in this kind of broadcasting type environment, that little baby that we have here in the esports industry. It's all very exciting. We live in exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. Oh God, it just gets me all jiggly and excited. What do we have left here to talk about for this announcement? Oh yes, custom games. Hello, that is so fucking cool. We have been waiting for custom games for so long. S2 almost got how big of a deal it is. You know, like you can look at some blunders in the past. A great one is Blizzard and Dota. The game was built on their platform, for fuck's sake. It was built on their engine. It was on their servers, and they just went, "Oh yeah, that's a cool community contribution. Look at you, community. Keep it up." And then they kept it up. And then S2 came in and said, "That's a good fucking idea. Let's make our own." And then Valve said, "You're right. You just proved a really good fucking idea. Let's take it and make our own." And here we go. Now we're coming full circle where Dota 2 is based on a platform that is going to be open to anyone to develop custom games on. And you can just pay Valve a little bit, then you've got a game of your own. So what's going to happen now that Dota is the main game, and we've got a custom map generator where people can, or platform where people can make custom games that you can buy and play and monetize through Dota 2. What if one of those mini games becomes the next Dota of the time? 10 years from now, we're going to be like, I remember those hipsters sitting back and playing Footman Frenzy on that Dota 2 client. Man, you remember the beta of Dota 2 Reborn? I wish I was playing back then. That was back in my prime. Now I'm like 50. That could happen. And it's crazy that Valve has the wherewithal and the environmental scanning, to go back to that word, just to put themselves in a position they can create this kind of a platform. S2 thought that they saw that custom games are cool. That was one of the early things they announced in Han, that they made that classic mistake of announcing things before they really knew what it would take to make it happen, and they bit off more than they could chew. It's not easy to develop an engine like the custom map editor in Warcraft 3. Designing something like that is not particularly easy. I mean, you can make a version of that, but making one that's kind of easy to use and it's powerful enough. There's like a trade-off, right? It's like a laptop where you can get a really small one or you can get a really powerful one. What's really expensive is having a really powerful laptop and a really small form factor. And I feel like these custom map creators are similar, where it can be very, very powerful and do a lot of cool things, but it's hard to use, or it can be very simplistic with the interface, but you're limited by its simplicity. So finding that middle spot where you have a lot of power to make really cool maps, but a pretty average person come in and say, oh, this is cool, I understand what's going on here, I'm going to make a map that's functional. Finding that balance is what's really key, because if it's too hard, then only like 10 people will do it, like Second Life, and if it's too easy, then it's not going to have the depth to really capture the audience for a long period of time. And I think S2 really struggled to find that balance, and they just never released a custom map editor after talking about it for a few years. Now Valve is finally doing it, and I am beyond excited. I didn't even play that many custom games on the Warcraft 3 client, to be perfectly honest. I played some. I was a big Angel Arena guy. I was a big Dota guy. I mean, honestly, those were the two custom games I played the most. I played the most. I played a little bit of Souls RPG, but it was mostly Dota and Angel Arena. I was more into actual Warcraft 3. Like, I played a lot of AT, a lot of RT. I was awful. I was terrible, but I thought custom games were for noob casuals, so I didn't play that many of them. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I am so excited to relive all of my past missed memories from the Warcraft 3 client that everybody keeps talking about. It's pretty fucking cool. And you're right, I'm looking at chat. That's one thing Blizzard has done very well. They had the custom map engines for StarCraft 1, for Warcraft 2. That's true. They go far back, and that's something Blizzard understood that I feel like they didn't realize how bold that is. You know, like they understood, hey, this is a cool thing. Our community really appreciates it. But they didn't understand the potential of that, where you can have like a free-to-play-esque model where you can encourage people to build on that platform and do the Valve thing, where you charge a royalty or some little fee, or you find a way to monetize it in the game where people can pay $3 to buy an official version. Like, think about it like mini games, right? Like, I don't know how it's going to work exactly for Source 2 and Dota 2 Reborn, but I would imagine you build a really cool map. You build a sick tower defense, the Zyori's tower defense, right? People like it. You put it up there. You sell it for $2, $3, $5. Valve takes a little whatever, 75% or whatever their cut's going to be, 5%, 20%. They take some, and then you've got this little game, and then through the client, people can just download it, buy it, just like a Steam game, and you make a little bit of money off that. That's cool. That is a way of incentivizing the community to produce cool, creative content. Community for the community, by the community. That's been enabled by the developer. And the developer wins because you get extra money off that. Once you have the platform, all you have to do is maintain it, and then you're making money, you're making other people money, everybody's making money, and it's fun. It's great. It's just this repeating loop of positivity, and I love it, and I'm so glad that Valve is making these dreams come true. So there is really a lot to look forward on that front, and we'll see what part 2 is all about. We'll learn a little bit more about the custom games. I'm sure some of them have already been developed. I know there are custom games for Dota 2 right now, but it's a real pain in the ass to get them to work. You have to download all this extra shit, and you have to, they're buggy, and you can't just be like, hey buddy, you want to play? It's like everybody has to get it set up. It's not like we can do a sub day, be like, all right everybody, let's play Pudge Wars, this is going to be awesome. Everybody's got to download Pudge Wars, we've got to set it up, you got to go into the command console and find a private server, type in, connect to the server IP. It's not user friendly. It's not a click and go kind of a thing, and I guess that's what Source 2 is really going to create for the custom games, and oh my man, that is what's going to be lacking. 75% of $2. Oh boy. So yeah, I don't have too much else to say about Dota 2 Reborn. I'm very excited about it. I think it's awesome, and I think it's going to keep our game interesting. That's one of the perspectives I like to talk about a lot with Dota 2 is how do we keep this interesting? We've got a huge foundation, a huge player base, people that are obviously passionate into the game. We're at the point now where we can call TI crowdfunding a sustainable model for multi-million-dollar tournaments. It's happened enough now with enough growth over years that I don't think you can call it a fluke. Like first TI, all right, that's a fluke. Maybe they'll do it again, maybe they won't. Second TI, oh cool, they've done 2 in a row. Third TI, okay, this is getting interesting. Yeah, they crowdfunded some shit. TI 4 is like, oh my god, they crowdfunded so much money. Will their audience do it again? I don't know. Now TI 5, it's like, yeah, we did it again with even more money. Get fucked. At this point, I think you can call it sustainable. If Valve keeps doing what they're doing in general on this upward trend, this trajectory of continually improving and coming out with new content, they found this really good cadence of releasing content, I think. We're just about the point where I'm like, man, Dota feels a little dry and grindy. Bam! Within a month, they put out a new patch that completely changes the game. Topsy-turvy, nerfs, buffs, new additions, new heroes, crazy items, all these really cutting-edge changes, right? Yeah, a little bit of downtime. TI's coming up. Bada boom, bada bing. Motherfuckers, Source 2's around the corner. Boom! Drop the mic. All right, you got my interest. And I think Valve is doing a good job understanding that this game has a finite amount of life. And they're trying to extend it as long as they can without milking it. And that's another middle ground that's really hard to find. I think EA is an example of a company that's really bad at finding that middle ground, where they get a good franchise and they just motherfucking milk it. Guitar Hero is another good example of one that comes to mind. You have and Rock Band. I forget who makes which, but they're pretty much the same concept. Where it was a cool idea, cool brand, they just release another one, just keep churning them out, and then. Well, there you go. Oh, that's an Activision game. There you go. That's Activision. That is another example of just keep on making them, and people will keep buying them until people realize, hey, this game's the same as the old one, just has some new songs. You could have made this like some DLC. I would have happily paid $10 for it to expand on what I already have, but I don't want to buy a new guitar for some new fucking songs. This is retarded, and then you just lose your market and you move on to the next one. Sure, they make a lot of money, but that's not how you create sustainable growth, and Valve just doesn't. That's just not on the Valve radar. They like their customers. They want to keep them coming back, and I think they're doing pretty well at it. So I'm just hyped in general. I'm excited. There's a lot of positivity going on around here. TI5 invites are around the corner, guys. It could be coming anytime. Last year, TI5 talent invites came out sometime around June 10th, June 11th, I think, somewhere around there. Of course, they were kind of splintered out, but it was right around this time frame. So TI a little bit later this year than it was last year. You adjust for it, who knows? So we should have at least some idea of who's going to be going to the event. And more importantly, we're going to have an idea of what Valve has in mind for the event. If it's a similar amount of people, it'll probably be kind of a similar setup. Maybe it'll be less people, where they'll have more people, or less people casting more games each. Are they going to break up the group stage more? How long is the group stage going to be? These are all questions that we don't really have answers to. And some of that information should be revealed as they start to reveal what kind of talent they have in mind to work the event. And that'll also give you an idea of what kind of show it's going to be. So I'm really looking forward to those details. Of course, I am not secure in my invite. A lot of people said, oh, congratulations on the TI invite because you went to the qualifiers. Not the same thing. The qualifiers were run by Twitch and the individual studios, not by Valve itself. Of course, it had Valve's blessing, their support, but it was not an official Valve event. They didn't choose to have much say over who was invited to the qualifiers. So being there by no means secures you an invite. I mean, there were a ton of people there. There's no way all of those people are going to be invited to work TI. It's just there's almost no way. There's too many fucking people. There's not enough jobs for them for an event like the International. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. I'm not too nervous about it, but I'm very excited to hopefully get the official invite and be able to move on that front. So all good energy coming from this side of the pond. Things still very quiet here at the BTS house. I've basically just been playing a lot of Dota. My arm's been sore because I've been doting too much. I'm trying to grind up that MMR. It's going okay. I'm still like in the 35-50 area. It's dumpster tier. When I moved out to BTS, I grinded up to 4K in like a month and a half, and I'm hoping to do that again before TI, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. I just haven't been winning enough games. Unless I'm playing Spirit Breaker. It seems like if I'm playing Spirit Breaker or Lesh, I can win. Outside of that, forget about it. So I don't know. Maybe I need to start playing Undying or some shit. Just go full trench mode, really delve into the meta, and just go at it. Only time will tell. But that does wrap up this podcast. Thank you for joining us for episode number 73 of the Zyori Podcast. Make sure you find us on iTunes, rate, subscribe, and comment over there. It does help the podcast get a little more exposure. We are not done yet for today, though. There's a sub day coming up next. It was supposed to be sub day Sunday. I had to change it because I had an IRL birthday party I had to attend to. I kind of fucked up my schedule. So that was fun. That was nice. And, well, it fucked up sub day. So now we're going to do a sub day for at least a few hours here. It is so fucking hot in here. I need to close the window, pump up the AC, and get another beverage. We're going to be coming back and play sub games for the next couple hours. So thanks for joining us for the podcast, folks. Hopefully see you next time. You can find all your podcast needs over on ZyoriTV. But until next time, be kind to yourselves and be kind to each other. We'll see you on the next podcast.